Have you ever laid in bed at night staring at the ceiling, replaying every little thing you did in a relationship, wondering why she pulled away, why she didn't see your love the way you felt it? Maybe you've given everything, your time, your energy, even your heart, and still, it wasn't enough. And in that quiet pain, you ask yourself, what makes a woman truly obsessed with a man? Before we dive in, my brother, I want you to pause, because what I'm about to share with you could completely shift the way women see you, respond to you, and connect with you. These aren't tricks in the shallow sense. These are psychological truths hidden in plain sight that women feel deep down even if they can't explain it. So if you've ever loved, lost, or been broken by someone who never truly valued you, this video is for you. Watch until the end, because each point builds on the last. And by the end, you'll know exactly what makes a woman crave your presence instead of taking it for granted. Also, make sure to subscribe to this channel, Stoic Mysteries, and like this video, because what we're uncovering today could literally change the course of your love life. Now, let's begin. Point 1, the power of scarcity. Why less is more? Let me ask you something, brother. Have you ever been in love so deeply that you couldn't go a single hour without checking your phone, waiting for her reply? You text her, "Good morning," and when she doesn't respond right away, your mind races. You scroll through old chats, reading her sweet words, remembering how it felt when she laughed at your jokes. And then, silence. No reply. Hours pass, and that silence feels heavier than 1,000 words. I know that pain. We've all been there, heart pounding, palms sweating, waiting for someone to validate our existence with a single message. And when you finally see her typing, your heart leaps only for her to reply with something short, cold, or distracted. Suddenly you're the one chasing, pouring your heart out while she grows more distant. Why does this happen? Why does love that once felt so fiery slowly fade into indifference? The answer, my friend, lies in a powerful law of psychology. Scarcity creates value. Think about it. What makes diamonds so precious? It's not just that they're beautiful, it's that they're rare. If diamonds were lying on every street corner, no one would treasure them. The same is true for your time, your love, your presence. When you give it endlessly, when you're always available, always chasing, always the first to text or call, you unintentionally make yourself less valuable in her eyes. Let me tell you a story. I had a friend named Ali. He loved a woman so deeply, he made her the center of his world. He skipped nights out with his friends, stopped focusing on his goals, and spent every ounce of energy proving his love. At first, she enjoyed the attention, but slowly she pulled away. At first, she enjoyed the attention, but slowly she pulled away. One night, after another long day of him trying to make her happy, she sighed and said words that broke him. "You're always there. I don't even miss you anymore." Do you feel that? That sting in your chest? Maybe you've heard similar words before. Maybe your ex didn't say it out loud, but you felt it in the way she stopped fighting for you, stopped appreciating you, stopped seeing your value. But here's the truth. Ali's mistake wasn't that he loved. His mistake was that he gave without limits, without balance, without scarcity. When you step back, when you don't always reply instantly, when you let her wonder what you're doing, you create curiosity. And curiosity is the seed of obsession. She starts to replay your conversations, wonder about your silence, miss your presence. Suddenly, you're not the man begging for attention. You're the man whose attention is rare, precious, and valuable. Brother, scarcity is not about playing games. It's about self-respect. It's about showing her through your actions. I love you, but I also love myself. My time, my energy, my life, they matter. So if you're heartbroken right now, if your ex walked away, don't chase. Don't beg. Pull back. Create space. Let her feel the silence. Because in that silence, she'll remember your value. Scarcity doesn't push love away, it makes love chase you. Point 2, emotional contrast, how to take her on a journey. Let me ask you this, brother. Do you remember the first time you fell for her? Not just liked her, but truly fell. Do you remember how your heart would skip when her name popped up on your phone? Do you remember laughing so hard with her one night that your stomach hurt? And then a few days later, sitting quietly together, talking about your deepest fears? That roller coaster, that mix of highs and lows, that's what made her unforgettable. Now think back to how it ended. Maybe you started giving her the same good morning text every day. Maybe the conversations became predictable. How are you? I'm fine. What did you eat? Nothing special. Slowly the spark dimmed, and before you knew it, She wasn't laughing the way she used to, wasn't curious about you anymore, wasn't feeling. Here's the truth, brother. A woman doesn't fall in love with what you say. She falls in love with how you make her feel. And the way to keep her hooked is through emotional contrast. Just like your favorite movie isn't 2 hours of the same scene, your presence in her life can't be one-dimensional. If you're always serious, she gets bored. If you're always funny, she never feels depth. But when you bring both laughter and seriousness, playfulness and vulnerability, strength and softness, you take her on an emotional journey she can't forget. I'll give you a story. My friend Hamza once told me about his ex. At the beginning, he was unpredictable. Sometimes he would surprise her with silly jokes. Sometimes he would open up about his dreams. Sometimes he would go quiet and let her chase him. She loved it. She was addicted. But then as time passed, he became too predictable. He always responded the same way, always repeated the same routines, always gave the same safe energy. And do you know what she said when she left him? I don't feel the same anymore. That's the danger of losing contrast. You become flat. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you gave a woman goosebumps? Just by the way you told a story? When was the last time you made her laugh so hard she couldn't breathe? And then a few moments later, held her hand and made her feel safe enough to share her tears? That's what women obsess over, the emotional journey. Brother, I know you've felt the pain of a breakup. I know you've replayed memories, wishing you could go back and bring back the spark. But here's the secret. You don't need to go back. You need to build forward. You need to become the man who brings contrast, the man who makes her feel alive. Because love isn't about comfort alone. It's about adventure. It's about the unknown. And when you give her that roller coaster of emotions, the laughter, the mystery, the depth, she won't just want you. She'll crave you. Point 3, mystery. Why not knowing everything makes you irresistible? Brother, let me ask you something straight from the heart. Do you remember when you first started talking to her? When every little detail she revealed felt like a gift? The way she told you about her favorite childhood memory, her favorite song, her silly habit of sleeping with one sock on. It all felt magical, didn't it? But let me ask you this. How long did that magic last? Because over time you learned everything, every routine, every story, every habit. And suddenly the curiosity faded. The mystery was gone. Here's the truth about love most men never realize. Mystery fuels attraction. A woman doesn't obsess over what she fully understands, she obsesses over what she can't quite figure out. I'll tell you a story. My friend Daniel was a hopeless romantic. On the very first date with a girl he liked, he poured out his whole life story. He talked about his ex, his job struggles, even the mistakes he made in the past. He thought he was being open and honest. But do you know what happened? She lost interest almost instantly. Not because Daniel was a bad guy, but because there was no mystery left. He had shown all his cards too soon. Compare that with another man she met later. He was warm, he laughed with her, he shared pieces of his life, but not everything. When she asked about his childhood, he smiled and said, "That's a story I'll tell you one day when the time's right." When she asked why he loved a certain book, he said, "It reminds me of something personal. I'll share that when you've earned the secret." He left her with questions, little puzzles her mind couldn't stop trying to solve. And guess what? She couldn't stop thinking about him. Now pause for a moment. Think about your ex. Do you ever wonder why, even though she's gone, you still replay little details in your head? That perfume she wore? That inside joke only you two understood? That time she looked at you differently and didn't explain why? Those unanswered moments, that's what keeps her memory alive. Not what you knew, but what you didn't fully know. Brother, women are emotional detectives. They don't fall in love with everything you reveal. They fall in love with the chase to uncover who you really are. And when you give it all away too soon, you rob them of that journey. So here's the lesson. Don't be an open book on page 1. Share parts of yourself slowly. Let her earn your trust. Let her discover you layer by layer. Have passions, goals, and sides of your personality that she doesn't see immediately. Because when you remain just a little mysterious, she won't be able to stop thinking about you. She'll replay your words, wonder about your silences, and crave the pieces of you that she hasn't unlocked yet. Remember this, brother. The man who reveals everything too soon becomes ordinary, but the man who carries mystery becomes unforgettable. Point 4. The power of emotional safety, being her secret place. Brother, let me ask you something that may hurt a little. Have you ever loved someone so much that you thought she'd never leave you? You listened to her stories. You laughed at her jokes, you gave her everything. And yet one day she pulled away. Maybe she didn't say why. Maybe she said, "I just don't feel the same anymore." And that broke you. But here's what most men never realize. She didn't walk away because you weren't good enough. She walked away because she didn't feel something she desperately craved. Emotional safety. Think about it. We live in a world where people judge so quickly. Women especially carry wounds, betrayals, heartbreaks, memories of men who lied, cheated, or dismissed their feelings. On the outside, she may look strong, confident, independent. But deep inside, she has fears. She has scars. She has a heart that aches for a place where she can truly feel safe. Now let me tell you about my friend Arslan. He wasn't the richest guy. He wasn't the most handsome in the room. But women loved being around him. Why? Because when they talked to him, they felt free. They could cry without being judged. They could laugh without being mocked. They could admit their fears without hearing, "Oh, don't be silly." Arslan became that rare thing, a safe place. And that made him unforgettable. Brother, ask yourself honestly, when your ex was hurting, did you listen to her? Or were you too quick to fix her problems? When she cried, did you really hold space for her emotions? Or did you rush to make it stop because it made you uncomfortable? Sometimes women don't need answers. They don't need solutions. They just need to feel like their soul is safe in your presence. And when you give that to a woman, when she feels she can show you the raw, messy, unfiltered parts of herself without fear, she won't just love you. She'll cling to you. She'll crave you. She'll become obsessed. Because you're not just another man, you're her secret place. Her refuge in a world that keeps hurting her. Think about your own heartbreak, brother. Do you remember how badly you wished someone could just listen? No judgment, no fake advice, just listen? That's exactly what women long for too. So here's the lesson. If you want her obsessed, don't just make her laugh. Don't just give her romance. Make her feel safe. Let her know she can bring her storms to you and you won't run. Let her know she can trust you with her heart and you won't break it. Because looks may fade, money may come and go, but emotional safety, that stays forever. And the man who gives it becomes the man she never forgets. Point 5. The art of unpredictability, keeping the spark alive. Brother, let me ask you something from the bottom of your heart. Do you remember how it felt in the beginning with her? When everything was new, when you didn't know what she'd say next, when every text notification sent a rush through your chest? That was the magic of the unknown. That was unpredictability. But what happened over time? Slowly, the excitement faded. The conversations became routine. The dates became predictable. Same cafe, same dinner, same good morning text every single day. And one day you noticed something painful. She wasn't smiling at your messages the way she used to. She wasn't excited to see you anymore. She had grown bored. It hurts, doesn't it? To realize that the same woman who once couldn't stop thinking about you now seems distracted, distant and cold. Here's the truth, brother. Women crave emotional stimulation. Their hearts are wired for excitement, curiosity, and surprise. When everything becomes predictable, they stop feeling alive around you. And when they stop feeling, they stop caring. Let me share a story. My friend Zane was deeply in love with his girlfriend. In the beginning, he swept her off her feet. Midnight drives, unexpected flowers, silly little games only they understood. She was obsessed with him. But as months passed, Zane settled into comfort. Same words, same routines, same safe energy. One day, she told him, "You've changed. You're not the same guy I fell for." And just like that, the relationship crumbled. Now, brother, I want you to think about your own heartbreak. Think about your ex. Do you ever replay those first days together? The laughter, the thrill, the surprises? That's what you miss most. It's not just her, it's the feeling she gave you. And she walked away because she stopped feeling it with you. So here's the secret. If you want a woman to stay hooked, you must bring unpredictability back into her life. I don't mean chaos. I don't mean breaking promises or being unreliable. I mean giving her the gift of surprise. One day, instead of the usual text, send her a voice note with a funny memory. Instead of the same dinner date, take her somewhere she never expected, maybe a rooftop, maybe a park picnic, maybe even just stargazing. Hide little notes for her to find. Change the rhythm. Keep her guessing. Women don't fall in love with routines, they fall in love with adventure. And when she never quite knows what's next, she'll stay addicted to the mystery of you. Brother, let me leave you with this. Predictability may feel safe, but it kills passion. Unpredictability done with love keeps the fire burning. Be the man who surprises her, not with money or big gestures, but with thought, creativity, and timing. Because when she can't fully predict you, she'll never want to let you go. Point 6. Purpose. The irresistible magnet of ambition. Brother, let me ask you something that might cut deep. After your breakup, when you were lying in bed staring at the ceiling, didn't it feel like life itself had lost meaning? You didn't want to eat. You didn't want to go out. You didn't want to laugh. It felt like the world was over because she was your world. But here's the truth that most men never want to face. When you make a woman the center of your life, you lose yourself. And when you lose yourself, eventually, you lose her too. Women aren't obsessed with men who chase them endlessly, who revolve their entire lives around them. No, women are obsessed with men who have a purpose, a mission, something bigger than love, bigger than romance, bigger even than her. Think about it. Who do women fantasize about? The rock stars, the athletes, the leaders, the dreamers. Not because of their looks, not even because of their fame, but because these men radiate something magnetic: ambition. Now let me tell you about my friend Hamza. When he fell in love, he gave it everything. He skipped the gym, stopped hanging with friends, put his dreams on pause, all for her. At first, she loved the attention, but slowly she lost respect. Why? Because the man who once had fire, goals, and dreams became just another guy orbiting her world. She left, and Hamza was crushed. One night, broken and drunk on heartbreak, he asked me, why wasn't I enough? And I told him the truth. It's not that you weren't enough. It's that you forgot who you were. Brother, maybe you felt this too. Maybe you gave up everything for your ex. Maybe you thought love would complete you, and when it ended, you felt empty, because you had no foundation of your own. But here's the lesson. Purpose is what makes a man unstoppable. When you wake up every day chasing a mission, whether it's building a business, mastering a craft, or shaping your body into its strongest form, you become magnetic. She can't help but respect you, admire you, even obsess over you. Why? Because ambition shows her you're not just another man begging for love. You're a man moving forward with or without her. That's attractive. That's powerful. That's what makes her think, I don't want to lose him. He's going somewhere and I want to be by his side. So brother, I ask you, what's your mission? What's the fire inside you that's been buried under heartbreak? Maybe your ex leaving wasn't the end. It was the wake-up call. Maybe the pain you feel right now isn't punishment, it's the push you needed to rediscover your purpose. Because here's the truth, women come and go. Love can break you, heal you, confuse you. But purpose? Purpose is forever. And the man who walks with purpose never walks alone. Point 7. Self-mastery. Becoming the man she can't forget. Brother, let me ask you a question that might hit a nerve. When she left, did you secretly hope she'd regret it one day? Did you dream of her scrolling through her phone late at night? Seeing you living your best life and thinking, I should have never let him go? The thought alone has kept many men awake, replaying the memories of love, those laughs, those long walks, those nights when it felt like forever. And then the heartbreak, her silence, her absence, her moving on. But here's the truth, brother. She won't regret leaving you because of your words, your pleas, or your pain. She'll regret it when you rise. She'll regret it when you master yourself, your emotions, your discipline, your growth. That's when you become unforgettable. Self-mastery means becoming the strongest version of yourself in every dimension, body, mind, spirit. It's about turning pain into power. Every tear you cried for her, channel it into your workouts. Every sleepless night of heartbreak, turn it into late nights building your vision. Every memory of her leaving, use it as fuel to never depend on anyone for your happiness again. Let me tell you a story. My brother in pain, Adil, went through the worst breakup of his life. He begged, he cried, he even lost weight from the stress. He thought his life was over. But one night, staring in the mirror, he whispered to himself, never again. That was the night his rebirth began. He hit the gym with fire in his chest. He started reading, learning, growing. He built his career with relentless focus. Months passed, then years. And one day, out of the blue, his ex texted him, "You've changed. I'm proud of you." But here's the twist. By then, he didn't even want her back, because he had become someone bigger than the boy she left. He had become a man. Brother, maybe you're still stuck in the pain of your breakup right now. Maybe you're asking, how do I forget her? How do I stop hurting? And I'll tell you this, you don't forget by force. You forget by transformation. You forget by rising so high that your old self, the one who begged, the one who cried, no longer exists. And when you master yourself, women notice. Your ex notices. But more importantly, you notice. You look in the mirror and you don't see heartbreak anymore. You see resilience. You see strength. You see a man who can't be broken. That's the man she can't forget. Not because you chase her, not because you try to prove your worth, but because you've built yourself into someone unforgettable, whether she's in your life or not. So brother, let this heartbreak be the fuel. Let this pain be the teacher. Master yourself. Because once you do, you won't just win women's hearts. You'll win life itself. Conclusion. So let's recap. Scarcity, emotional, contrast, mystery, emotional, safety, unpredictability, purpose, self-mastery. These aren't just tricks, they're pillars of becoming a man women can't forget. And if you've been heartbroken, if you've cried over someone who didn't value you, I want you to remember this. The story isn't over. You can rise, you can rebuild, and you can become the man who never has to chase love, because love will chase you. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.